So it's late 90s, early 2000s. The South African music industry at the time is dominated by Kwaito and house music, right? Mandoza, it's like a household name. And a song like Nkalagata is like an anthem at this point. So no one is really trying to mess with this young hip hop thing, which is still on the come up, except for a bunch of nerds and a few socially awkward people like myself. So basically, at this time, hip hop actually exists in small ciphers. You got a hip hop show here, a hip hop show there, but there wasn't really much of a concerted effort, to try and get the music into the mainstream, to put money behind it. Because at the time, a lot of corporates and a lot of large, like big record labels, they thought this thing is American, so it's not gonna land with the South African masses. So yeah, no one was really paying attention to it. It only existed like outside of mainstream media, and you literally had to go to the streets to see exactly where the heat is with this hip hop thing. So this kid from Kimberley moves to Joburg. He gets signed to a record label, and then he drops basically the most classic hip hop album in South Africa, like South African history, specifically when it comes to hip hop. I think at this point it's beyond debate now. So in that album, there's a song called I Have a Dream, and this song basically becomes like not even, I think it's a prophecy. The song becomes a prophecy for what's basically going to happen to the South African hip hop music. But yeah, and as they say, man, the rest is history from there. So let's get straight into that video. Yo, word to my brothers and sisters. Welcome to Haiku. I do, and I do it for hip hop, man. I don't do it for anything else, basically. So for the first video, we're going to look at a song by Proverb called I Have a Dream, taken off his debut album called The Book of Proverb, which he dropped in March in 2005. Right. So the song that we're going to look at, I'm not sure exactly who's basically working on production, but I know that the entire project has got production credits from people like Nyams, Battle Cat, those Demongs, I think the Stethoscope as well. So basically legendary producers from that golden era. So this song contains a sample by Martin Luther King Jr. from his famous speech that you should know. If you don't know, you better ask somebody. But yeah, it's got a sample from that speech, and I think it's quite befitting, for the message that Proverb was trying to put through on this particular song. So yeah, let's just get straight into the song.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration. Now is the time.
Hey, our time is now. Rise is down, shine is found. We have redefined the sound. Hey, listen here, listen here, to spit the beat, will make the blackness disappear. Hey, together we stand, divided we fall. Hey, the better we can, provide them a wall. Hey, we played the back line long enough. We'll never back down. Rap's not strong enough.
Okay, so basically with the chorus, I just want you to picture Proverb standing on a podium similar to Martin Luther King. So he's basically standing on the podium and he's addressing heads. And heads is a hip hop term for rappers, for those who don't know. So he's basically just trying to put through this call of action to rappers to say, look, heads, our time is now. We've solidified this music, we've put our rhymes down. So the only thing we have to do, we have to stand together. Like he says, together we stand, divided we'll fall. So he's basically addressing rappers the same way that Martin Luther King was addressing his I don't want to call them followers, but those were people who were looking up to him at the time. So that's basically Proverb also setting that tone to say he's also making a speech and addressing rappers to say, guys, the time is now. Let's do this thing, basically.
I have a dream that real MCs will win awards. Cats who've been ignored by the industry before. The underdogs that are giving more when they're living for the bigger cause that our hip hop will hit abroad. In terms of loving the sales and rate the richest sport, I have a dream of seeing an SAMC in the source, a double HP poster in the centerfold. I have a dream of platinum sales minimum.
I have a dream of platinum sales. Okay, let's just
Gold, a tour bus with all of us touring across Africa. Source, a double HP poster in the centerfold. I have a dream of platinum sales minimum gold.
a double HP poster in the centerfold. So basically, for those who don't know, a centerfold is in the magazine. When you split open the page in the middle on a magazine, it's called a centerfold. So what they used to do back then, they used to take like a picture of a famous celebrity, and then they'd make it a poster like in the middle of a magazine. So that's what a a centerfold is. And strange enough, they never did that for like hip hop rappers. They only used to do that for like people they considered celebrities, which at the time were like Kwaito Cats and people who used to appear on TV a lot. But rappers never actually got that, most rappers never actually got that centerfold of having their picture there. So he's saying, double HP poster in the centerfold. I have a dream of platinum sales, minimum gold, and if you don't know, like hip hop music at the time never used to actually sell a lot, So he wanted, rappers to get to that place where, they're actually selling at least minimum gold.
Platinum sales minimum gold. A tour bus with all of us touring across African borders. With television networks record us. I have a dream of being on stage when I perform and see the crowd respond to metaphors, not just the chorus.
I have a dream of being on stage when I perform and seeing the crowd respond to metaphors, not just the chorus. That line, it's like it takes you way back to that hip hop that used to feel good. Now hip hop sounds good now, but it doesn't feel good. Like old hip hop used to feel good because when a rapper was on stage, you knew that every second or third line was gonna be a bar and you'd be going, yo. But now, man, it's like it's all about the chorus. You get the chorus right and there's a hype behind it. Everyone is vibing to it. So there's no longer that, like rappers now, our days, people are just reacting to the chorus and not the actual lyrics because there isn't really much of content going on. Not enough punchlines going on in most of the songs that are coming out now. But yeah, that's basically what he was referring to.
The balls, not just the chorus. I have a dream of writing articles in magazines that'll explain hip hop is more than just a bag of jeans. In fact, it seems the whole culture is misunderstood. They say we portray the bad. Listen, while I spit some good, it's not all about me, verb. I want all MCs to be heard and get the respect that they deserve. I have a dream that I'll spit real until I die or get killed, like Jerusalem, this Israel.
I have a dream that I will spit real until I die or get killed, like Jerusalem, this Israel. That line is crazy on so many levels because he's saying, I have a dream that I'll spit real until I die or get killed. Now, getting killed this is basically what's happening at the moment with the Israelis and the Palestinians that are currently fighting over Jerusalem. So people are actually getting killed on the ground at the moment, for speaking their truth by saying, Jerusalem belongs to them as their holy land. So he's basically he's using hip hop to say, him and hip hop, it's like the Israelis going against the Palestinians to say, I have a dream, I will speak my truth until I die on the streets and get killed, like Jerusalem, this Israel. And then he does a nice play there by saying this Israel as in this is really happening, and also this Israel as in Israel, the place, right? Because Israel is I think Jerusalem is in Israel. But that nice play there to say, I will spit real until I die or get killed, like Jerusalem, this Israel. That's a sick play there on the words.
But I'll spit real until I die or get killed, like Jerusalem, this Israel. Our time is now, rhymes is down, shine is found. We refine the sound. Hey, listen here, this the year, to spit the veil, to make the blackness disappear. Hey, together we stand, divided we fall. Hey, the better we can, provide them a role. Hey, we played the background long enough, we'll never back down, rap's not strong enough. definite, we are forced to be reckoned with. Using thought as a weapon, and it's a war we expect to reign and victorious. Yet again, bringing all of the elements. DJs, graffiti arts, and b-boys to getting spins. I'm young, I'm feet.
You know that line is important. Normally, when people talk about hip hop, they think music, right? But as Proverb says here, let's just take that back a few
All
seconds.
definite, we are forced to be reckoned with. Using thought as a weapon, and it's a war we expect to reign and victorious. Yet again, bringing all of the elements. DJs, graffiti arts, and b-boys to getting spins.
It says bringing all of the elements, DJs, graffiti arts, beat boys be getting spins. So he's basically saying hip hop is a movement, it's not just music. So you've got different aspects. You've got rap, which is the musical aspect of hip hop, and then you've got breakdancing, you've got graffiti artists, you've got you've got all those different parts of hip hop that make up the whole movement. So he's not just referring to that this music, this movement that he's speaking about is specifically for music. He's just saying that it's actually for the whole entire hip hop movement. You know.
Seize the veterans, wanna be, get the pens. It's no coincidence they call us heads, cause we headed them. Initiating new recruits to let them in. Schooling the youth, that truth in music is relevant. I have a dream that African hip hop's the future. My thoughts are parallel to Martin Luther King Jr. Cause I too have seen the promised land and what it looks like. If you haven't tasted freedom, you need to read my book twice. I have a dream to see more rap TV shows, local releases packed in CD stores, and more high rotations and more radio stations. Local versus international ratios change heads.
More high rotations, more radio stations, US versus international ratios changed quick, right? So what used to happen mostly in radio is that the local versus international ratios, meaning in terms of the music that they play on radio, they used to focus mostly on international music, right? So they play more international than local. So I think there was actually an amendment that was done in the SAPC to say that radio stations now need to play, I think, 70% local music and then 30% of international. So it's basically what Proverb was talking about here, to see those local versus international ratios changed, to say we can't be in our own country playing music that is overseas while we could be playing local music and making sure that the rappers, not just rappers, but everyone within the music space who is making music actually gets to eat from, the royalties that come from their music being played on all these media platforms. So it is basically a dream realized, if we're to put it that way, to say this song, he made a prophecy that actually did get fulfilled at the end of the
Time
day.
is
So you
now,
can make a
rhymes is
prophecy.
down, shine is found. We have redefined sound. Heads, listen here, this the year to spit the beat. We'll make the rappers disappear. Heads, together we stand, divided we fall. Heads, the better we can, providing a wall. Heads, we played the background long enough. We'll never back down, rap's not strong enough. Heads, our time is now, rhymes is down, shine is found. We have redefined sound. Heads, listen here, this the year to spit the beat. We'll make the rappers disappear. Heads, together we stand, divided we fall. Heads, the better we can, providing a wall. Heads, we played the background long enough. We'll never back down, rap's not strong enough.
Free at last! Free at last! Thank God Almighty! We are free at last!
And that's true, man. We definitely, music is free at last, particularly hip hop, because you can't in today's day and age picture, urban culture without hip hop. From the way people dress now to somehow most people speak, like in our country now, which we've got Amapiano, which is taking over everything. Amapiano actually have a strong hip hop influence because most of the people who are leading in the Amapiano movement were rappers to begin with. So Sertrail, Young Stunner, even from the name, it tells you that these were people that were rappers, and the way they dress, it's purely hip hop culture. It's just that obviously, with the times to make it a lot more South African, that flavor of the sound is what is more local. But in terms of hip hop, the art form, the culture, it is very, very much still prevalent in urban culture today. So hip hop definitely was freed, as Proverb prophesied on this song. But yeah, that is it for the first reaction to the song here by Proverb. So let me know what you think. Go into the comment section. Like the video, subscribe to the channel most importantly, so that you can definitely get a notification when I drop another video. So yeah, take care of your mental, man, and peace and love.